Hey everyone, welcome to Finbot Insights, your go-to source for breaking down personal finance with tips and strategies to help you build the life you want. Today, we're diving into an exciting topic that could be your ticket to financial freedom: the paths to early retirement through the financial independence, retire early, or FIRE movement. We're talking about two powerhouse strategies: dividend investing and the classic 4% rule. Which one could be the right fit for your journey? Stick with me as we unpack the pros and cons of both approaches, crunch some eye-opening historical data, and help you figure out what aligns with your goals. Let's jump right in. First, let's ground ourselves with some historical perspective to see how these strategies measure up over time. Picture this. Since 1957, the S&P 500 share price has soared by an incredible 11,000%. That's massive growth. Now, compare that to dividend growth over the same period, which comes in at just under 4,000%, roughly a third of the price growth. When you factor in total return, that's price growth plus dividends, it's clear that focusing only on dividends might mean missing out on the broader market's full potential. But here's where it gets interesting: volatility. The S&P 500 price has been in the red, meaning a year-over-year decline, about 30% of the time. That's 20 out of 67 years. Dividend growth, on the other hand, has dipped negative less than 10% of the time. So if you're someone who craves stability in your financial plan, dividends might just speak to your soul. Let's zoom in on dividend investing as a strategy for early retirement. What makes it so attractive for folks chasing FIRE? Well, for starters, it often comes with lower volatility. Dividend stocks are frequently viewed as defensive, drawing investors during market downturns, which can mean less stress when the financial world feels like a roller coaster. Another big plus? There's no sequence of returns risk. Unlike other approaches where you might need to sell assets at the worst possible moment, dividends provide income without touching your core investment. And imagine this: by not selling off your holdings, you could build a portfolio to pass down to loved ones or support causes close to your heart. That's the kind of legacy many dream of creating. But let's keep it balanced. Dividend investing isn't without its challenges. Tax planning can be tricky since dividend income, especially from sources like REITs or high-yield covered call funds like SPYI, can be hard to predict. If you're not familiar, SPYI is a fund designed to generate high income through covered calls on the S&P 500, often offering juicy yields, but that unpredictability can complicate things like healthcare subsidies. Plus, dividends aren't a sure thing. Companies can cut them during tough times, as we've seen with some major players facing disruption or underperformance. And here's the trade-off. By focusing on dividends, you might miss out on the explosive gains of bull markets. While others are cashing in on high-growth stocks, you're prioritizing steady income over those potentially life-changing returns. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about the 4% rule, a staple in the FIRE community. What's the appeal here? First off, tax planning can be simpler. By selling a lump sum each year, maybe to cover specific costs like healthcare, you've got a more predictable income stream to work with. You're also fully in the game with the total market, getting exposure to growth stocks and the chance for maximum returns. And the planning? Pretty straightforward. Aim for 25 times your annual expenses, and you've got a clear target to shoot for. Sounds great, right? Well, there are some hurdles. The big one is sequence of returns risk. If you're forced to sell during a bear market, say a 30% drop, your portfolio could take a hit that's tough to bounce back from, possibly forcing you to tighten your belt. It can feel like a boom or bust situation where your income and peace of mind ride the waves of market performance. And if leaving a financial legacy matters to you, selling off assets over time might mean there's little left to share with future generations or causes you care about. So, how do these two paths resonate with your vision of financial independence? There's no universal answer here. Both dividend investing and the 4% rule can pave the way to FIRE, but the best choice hinges on what matters most to you: your risk tolerance, your need for stability, and how you emotionally navigate the ups and downs of the market. We often get caught up in the numbers, but let's not overlook the feelings tied to money decisions. How does each strategy sit with you on a gut level? Does the steady drip of dividend income give you calm, or does the growth potential of the broader market ignite your ambition? That emotional piece is just as critical as any spreadsheet. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Are you leaning toward dividends for that sense of security? Or are you drawn to the 4% rule for its growth possibilities? Maybe you've got questions about something like SPYY or other income focused funds. Let's talk it out. Imagine we're sitting around a virtual campfire sharing ideas. So drop your thoughts and let's keep this conversation going. If this breakdown sparked some new ideas for your financial journey, give us a shout out by sharing this episode with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to stick with Finbot Insights for more deep dives into building wealth and freedom. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.